Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, a channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. With the SNAP benefits being the way they are, with the government opening back up, and the benefits have resumed basically, but it's going to take a minute for those to kick back in and actually proceeds filter out to the people. So people are relying more now on food banks, and food banks are being stretched thin. There's only so much food to go around. And, you have homeless people, um, disabled people, and the elderly, going to the food banks because the prices of food is extremely expensive, and they're not able to really allocate the funds to go everywhere. Think about it. Your rent done went up, your utilities done went up, the gas in the car done went up. Now you're looking at the prices of food done went up, which they have been going up steadily over the course of the past 10 years. And you're sitting here thinking, man, the food banks are a godsend, and you see on the news, the people with the food bank, workers, who are volunteer workers, they are, carrying stuff to people cars or putting it in their like carts or people can them and walking off with it. But you know what? You find out now that there's not enough of food to go around. There's not enough of resources, because see, the resources are only for a certain amount of people. Now there are way more. There are double the amount of people. So you're trying to figure out, how do you make this stretch? So they're making the boxes a lot smaller, and you have some people complaining about the sizes of the boxes. You got to look at it this way, fam. In order for everybody to get some, they have to make the boxes smaller, because there's not going to be more food distributed, more people, donating at that particular point in time. So you got to do what you got to do. But a lot of people are not seeing that. A lot of people are not understanding that. A lot of people are not there for that because, again, if it ain't happening to you, you don't give a damn. And to be honest, a lot of people do care. But see, the thing that we don't understand here in this country, we create excess amount of certain things. Like certain people who grow crops, they create excess amount of crops, and sometimes when they don't have a buyer for them, they burn them. So you sitting here thinking it's the same way with certain schools. Certain schools get school supplies, and man, the funny thing about that is, I watched, on the news how this guy was throwing away nothing but school supplies. He was like the custodian, and he was like, man, nobody never came to claim none of the stuff, so we have to get rid of the stuff. And I'm like, this is so wasteful. This is what's happening with the world that we live in, man. We're looking at the fact that, the poor are basically relegated to food banks, basically, because the food is too damn expensive. You hear me complain about the price of food, and people be like, hey, man, but you could afford it. I thank God that I can, man, but the prices are truly expensive, and nobody's getting that. People just looking at it from a standpoint of where's, oh, well, we could do this, this, and this. But, if you look at it on a grander scheme, the bigger scheme, on a bigger stage, man, we're ass out as a country, man. It's sad that, you dealing with SNAP benefits, and that's $8 billion a month. That's like what, 42,000 people? I mean 42 million people, my bad. $8 billion a month. Damn. That's like a small country or something. $8 billion? Like, dude, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what happened with this country? What happened with the way how we do things? At one point they were talking about food banks needing proof of income and things like that in order for you to get a box. This is what they were talking about at one point in time, to cut down from people who make enough of money but just go to the food banks because they don't want to buy the food. They want to keep their money in their pocket. You got people who are like that, who go to the food bank and be like, well, I'm going to go here and get this and that. And you got an everyday damn job. You get certain benefits and things like that. And man, I know so many people who get like some sort of come up. And I'm like, dude, oh man, I don't want nothing to do with it. If I don't need it, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to bring that energy on me or on any of mine. Dude, if you don't need it, don't use it. It's just like you getting food stamps, basically SNAP, EBT, and you don't need it. If you got an everyday damn job, live within your means. Don't go. And this is one of the reasons why they doing the thing with SNAP the way they doing it now, whereas they making rules for it because people were taking advantage. You know, some places were taking uh, the EBT card at restaurants. Dude, it's a way to do every damn thing. They were doing some of everything with this shit. And all of a sudden, that rules came in where you can't buy any more junk food, you know, no more sugary drinks to the point of this and that. Now they, you know, and people like, man, you can't tell me what to do with it. Yes, they can. You getting this for free, and all of a sudden you saying they can't tell you what to do with what they giving you for free? Come on, for real. And we looking at these food banks, we looking at the employees, and they're asking the employees, do they want a box and stuff like that? You know, some of the volunteers. And let me explain to you, and people like, oh, that's wrong. You know, a volunteer trying to get something and you don't need it, that's just taken away. That's a shame. No, it's not. I know people who actually you know, when they have like food days at work, and they tell you could take a little more, people go in there and take damn near a whole damn tray of food. They got like 6 plates and all this shit, and you like, damn, I thought you just lived with one other person. Who are all them plates for? Dude, and you know, those be the main ones talking about everybody. I said just like this, man, you got a whole bunch of hungry people in this damn world. Dude, I don't sit there and eat with people like that because I don't need to. Because one thing, God got me, man. If I'm wrong, then that's one thing, man. If I'm hungry, I've been hungry in my adult life. I have. I have went to bed hungry. Shit is what it is. But you know what? I'm not going to take nothing that I don't need. I'm not going to take away from somebody else who really need it. I knew people who, man, who couldn't, they went to bed with just milk. They had milk for dinner. And their parents sat there and didn't eat any damn thing. Bro, do you understand? Do you know what it's like to know people who worked and all they could do is just pay bills, but they couldn't really afford food? They sent their kids to school to eat. Even when the kid was sick, had, you know, a fever, had, you know, like mumps, you know, or chicken pox, they sent their ass to school. Because that was the only place that they had to eat food at. You know, again, hot meals, not always, you know, you think of America and you thinking of everybody living this charmed life where they all living in big houses, picket fences, dogs, and, you know, and moms and dads and all this shit, you know, or 2 moms or 2 dads, or, you know, 2 moms and 1 dad, or 2 dads and 1 mom. However, you know, you swing this, man. It's just like the American dream. It's not even a dream anymore. It's like what you put into it is what you get out of it. And you know what? That's been life. That's been reality for the longest that I've been alive. But, you know, people don't see it that way. People see it as you know, finding a way to get over, man. And it's not getting over. It's you just understanding that if we do not come into the situation the way we need to, we will not get it. Dude, I've been looking at a lot of this stuff for the longest. I've been looking at these food banks and saying, how can they possibly stay in business? Then I noticed some of these little outreach churches that, you know, they be offering food boxes to people. They be offering goods to the people. Why? Because, you know, they know people need. You can't go to a church where people ain't giving anything and, you know, you giving the church and the church is not giving anything back. I don't need a word that didn't come from God. You telling me about the word of the Lord, and you telling me something that's on a damn TV guide. I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear any of that. I understand words are good, comforting, and things like that, but sometimes people need to see action. I see some of these churches giving away food boxes too. So again, it was this one guy who said, man, his kids was hungry. He didn't have no money. You know, he was asking the church for some money to help buy the kids some food. He was down on his luck, and the church, you know, out of 10 churches, only 2 gave him something. But he went to the corner to the dope guys, and he asked them and told them what was happening, and they gave him money to buy. All of them gave him money for the kids to eat. Ain't that funny as hell? How the dope boys gave money, but the church didn't give anything. The church said, oh, We can't tell who's a scammer from, you know, from you know, who's legit. And I understand that. But man, how do you know which church is scamming you? And how do you know if the church is legit? Bro, we dealing with a lot of shit. And this is what I talk about. I'm glad that you are a part of this channel and that you see or hear the stuff that I'm talking about. Think about it. The food banks themselves need more donations. Dude, shit is getting real right now. But till later, peace out.